Hello. In this video, we are going to discuss one more table manipulation function in Power BI called as TreatAs. First, let's review the syntax and then try to implement it with the help of an example. So here is the definition and the syntax. Applies the result of a table expression as filters to columns from an unrelated table. So this is very important. It says unrelated table. And we have the parameters here, the syntax and the parameters. It takes two parameter, table expression and column. And return value, a table that contains all the rows in columns that are also in the table expression. So the definition is not very useful because I'm not very clear. And we have some remarks as well. The number of columns specified must match the number of columns in the table expression. Okay, I think this is one of the important remark. And there are some others as well. But let's try to implement this function in PBI and see how it's useful. So I have these two tables in PBI, sales revenue and advertisement cost. And this is unrelated, so there is no join between these two tables. We saw this in the definition as well. So treat as is useful when there is non-related tables. So if I go to the data tab here, so I have, let's go to the sales revenue. So I have region. We have region, something like Americas, APJ and EMEA. Country and revenue. Okay, so this is at a country level. And if I go to the advertisement cost table here, I have at a regional level, I have Americas and the total cost, APJ, EMEA. So the level of granularity is not the same. Here sales revenue, it's at a country level, and here advertisement cost is at a region level. So now let's try to use treat as function and then see what is the result we get by using a treat as. So we know it returns a table as a result. So let's create a new table here. I'll name this table as treat as table and use treat as function. So if you remember the remark, it says the columns should be equal in both the tables. But if you see here, the columns are not exactly the same. So now let me use a summarize function and then uh, make sure that the columns are same. So treat has, let me use a summarize function. And then I'm going to summarize the sales revenue table because we have more columns here and it's at a country level. So I'm going to use this. And I'm going to group this by region, okay? And then I'm going to use advertisement cost table and also use advertisement region and close the parenthesis and hit enter. Let's see what we get. So basically it passes the values from this to this particular sales revenue region table, and I'm getting the region as a output. So this function here itself may not be very useful, but let's go to the report and see how we can use this exactly the same function and get the desired output as per our requirements. So if I go to the report here, so I have a table here. So a table, and uh, I have the region from sales revenue table and actual revenue from the sales revenue table. And now since you already know that it's not related. This table and advertisement table is not related. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is if I try to bring in the cost here, let's have a look into the cost data once again. You see, I have Americas 1100, APJ 1500, EMEA 1300. Okay. In total, I have 1000, 2000, 3000 plus 800, 3900. approx 3,900 for all that region. So now if I bring in the cost here, let's see what I get. You see, I'm getting 3,900, but for Americas also I'm getting 3,900. Ideally, I should be getting 1,100. I'm getting 3,900 because there is no relationship between these two tables. Now let's try to use treat as function and then try to get the desired output here. Okay. So now we already created the function here, a table here using treat as function. I'm going to use the same function. Okay, so before that, let me add a new measure here. Call this, where is new measure? Add new measure. I'm going to call this as treat as cost. Okay, so now somewhere in the definition or in the remarks, we noted that it passes the filters to a table, right? That's what the treat as function does. So first, let's try to use a calculate function here, and then I need the sum of expression. Let's say I want the sum of cost. Okay, here advertisement cost. So I'm just going to hit enter. Okay. So now if I bring in the treat as cost, I should still get the same results like 3,900 each, right? And now what I'm going to do is pass the measure which I created, right, in the table function. So I'm going to pass the same function here. Okay. So how I'm going to do it? Treat as, then I need to make the columns the table equal here. So I'm going to use summarize the sales revenue table. This is a table, and then group by, I want to group by a region, sales revenue region. Okay. And then I'm going to pass the values from advertisement cost table, that is advertisement cost region. Pass it here and hit enter now. So basically I am passing the values to the advertisement cost, and then I'm getting the numbers. So now let's see what we get here. You see, I'm getting the right results, even though there is no relationship between these two tables. By using treat as function combined with the summarizer and using a calculate, I'm able to pass the right values to this particular columns, right? So this is how we can use a treat as function, and it's very handy when for some reason we are not able to establish a relationship between two tables, and still we want to pass on some values from another table based on the selections we make. So this particular function is very useful. So I know it's a little confusing, but probably you can try to do the same thing with some small data set. The reason I'm using a very small data set here is like it's very easy to understand. If I bring in complex models, right, like 3-4 tables, and you would get confused. So, and that's the reason I always keep my data set very small so that it's very easy to understand. Okay. Okay, so hope this video was helpful. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, please drop me a comment. I'll revert back to you. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day.